Let's flush trim some X's for an inlay and remove the excess on my bandsaw. But for all the haters out there that think I waste my scraps, check this out. Boom, I saved it, so bite me. And then I'm gonna use a flush trim bit with the bearing up top to match these details exactly. This worked out really good. Now using a piece of scrap from my shop, black walnut for all you wood snobs. And it had a huge crack going through it, but I wanted to save it. Now I'm using walnut for these inlays. Is it necessary? Probably not. Is it fabulous? Hell yeah. I added some glue and put them in place, and this was really going in well. I took a look and thought, well, now we're gonna have to negotiate with a saw for about 30 minutes, maybe. That sucked. And I got a little gappy on this one, but who's counting my mistakes, right? Moving on, I sanded it, I added some spit shine to it.
That's disgusting.
I polished it up. This thing was looking pretty damn good. And I'm able to stitch together huge slabs or small projects with this template. I really wanted it to show out. The old me would have sat here with some chisels and a mallet, and I would have been banging it out for several minutes, maybe even an hour, to get that perfect inlay. You see, it's controversial with woodworkers because if we're not using hand tools the entire process, we feel like we're not woodworking. But the truth is, there's a fine line between making money in production and woodworking.
Can you not judge me for like 2 seconds?
Flush trimming small pieces like these inlays can be a real pain in the ass sometimes, but there are a few tips and techniques that's gonna make it go a lot smoother, and I wanna dive into it. Let's get going. Small pieces can shoot out from underneath you, so using a push block with this rubber grip pad for non-slippage is a must. And with tiny pieces, compression bits seem to work best, in my opinion. And this wheel bearing, it rides along the template while the cutter head cuts the material. Next, get yourself some water and moisten the edges. This is not always necessary, but for small pieces, I highly recommend it every time. And always remember to push the material from right to left. This will make an easy transition and will avoid any blowout or chip out. And like I discussed last week, don't forget, start on the side grain, not the end grain. This is critical to avoiding kickback. Now I got a bunch of hate a couple of weeks ago when I posted this inlay kit on Instagram, and it really annoyed me. And you know, it got me to think. You build big and they call you an ego woodworker. You build small and they say you have no experience. You hide your skills and they say you're insecure. You show your work confidently and then they say you're showing off. Moral of the story is, haters are gonna hate and makers are gonna make. But hey, you remember that little X that I got a little bit gappy on? My hands got a little heavy? Well, I decided to go with Titebond 2 dark wood glue because this is black walnut. So when it cures, it's hardly going to be noticeable. In fact, it's almost going to disappear. I'll have a link in the description box below with all of the products used in this video. But what do you think so far? Pretty sweet, right? I'm really proud of the process, and it's going to be a nice addition to my home decor in my house. It came out pretty awesome, and I'm loving it. I can't wait to show my wife and get her reaction. But this X inlay kit really helped me out, and while I still hone in my skills, I'll be using this to be productive.